Sweet.
All right, hello and welcome to League of Vloggers. This is episode Who Knows?
No one
I really don't know.
I think it might be like 14.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's around there too.
So it's right around that.
Okay. Today we are talking about the MSI Play-In group.
Yeah.
We're only talking about one LCS team here today. The rest is shit no one cares about because they're in a different part of the world that doesn't exist.
Wait, the rest of the world doesn't exist?
To me it doesn't. Not right now anyway.
Unless I'm there,
Yeah.
it does not happen.
But we had a gratuitous amount of matches that took place between, what was it, like last Wednesday and up until like yesterday? Is that what it was?
I think so.
Yeah, it was a long fucking time. It was through Tuesday. It ended Tuesday. Like, that was the last day we had matches.
I had to watch the entirety of the Team Liquid matches twice because the first time I watched them, like, I was busy and I really glazed over it. So I was like, I should probably recap here. And then I kind of did the same thing the second time around, too.
Yeah.
So I was like, fucking A.
Well, okay, so let's start with that. The glazing over portion more so than anything. Because even when you're watching these group matches, like, it's fun to see these teams we don't know anything about. See different styles, different picks coming out and all that. But what it comes down to, as much as, like, people will talk crap about, LCS compared to, say, the LCK, whatever. Like, you very quickly realize that what we watch on a daily basis, a major region, is head and shoulders above what we're watching when we see these groups going at it. And these are the best of their regions.
Yeah, it was painfully obvious when I was watching some of those matches. They were so unforgettable. I forgot the names of the teams.
Yeah, well, in Group A we had Fongvu Buffalo, we had 1907 Fenerbahce, we had the Bombers coming from Oceania, and then we had rounding out. Come on, no, it was Latin America's because it's the combined Latin America one.
So the Vega squad.
No, not Vega.
Oh wait, okay, you're.
It was
Isurus
Gaming. Thank you, Isurus Gaming. They
That's
also
the
have
one
like
that
a
has the
shark
shark?
icon.
I called it.
Yeah, no, you have that right.
That's Vega Squadron. Yeah.
Well,
They both
there's
do.
two sharks.
So then in
Isurus is
Group
right there.
in Group
It's got a
B, we had Vegas Squadron coming
There's
from
two fucking
Russia.
shark
Yeah.
ones? What the fuck? Why do we have two goddamn sharks? You couldn't get a whole nother fucking mascot?
Vegas
There's another
Squadron was the one who
too.
had like the actual mascot
I
shark.
saw the
which
mascot.
was kind of awesome. I want more of that.
That's a bull, and that's a bull. Like, right? Fenerbahce.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Other regions of the world, get your mascot shit together. You can't all be fucking sharks and bulls. Jesus Christ.
We're NA, we only have like two teams that have like a creature as a mascot.
Yeah.
Fox and
Echo
what's the other
Fox
one?
and Liquid has a horse.
Oh, I guess Liquid. But
think
that's not even in the. Well, it's the logo. So
Right,
that's
yeah,
what it's
it's
about,
I mean like Vegas Squadron, it's in their logo. But yeah, like so Group A, like I said, was Fongvu Buffalo, 1907 Fenerbahce, and those are Vietnam, where the tournament's taking place. Fenerbahce is Turkey. We have Isurus Gaming, which is the combined Latin America North and South now, and Bombers from Oceania. So then on Group B, we had Vegas Squadron, who's our CIS, the Russian delegation, basically. We have Mega, which is the remnants of Southeast Asia that no longer has Vietnam in it. And who else?
Detonation Focus Me was
Yeah,
in there.
Detonation Focus Me, which is Japanese. And the final one, INTZ, which is Brazilian.
Okay.
So, yeah, we had all those. And I've got to say, like, Group A was just flat out better. We kind of knew that going in just from the draw, but, like, Group A was so much easier to watch than Group B.
I didn't watch any, I should disclaimer. But
Yeah.
I've heard stories, so.
So like we have like our bubble wrap midget wrestling match like picks for the week. That whole group was that.
B?
A or B or both.
Sure. It was all fucking painful to watch. Let me.
What part of it? I mean, because obviously your sentiment overall is that it's a lower level of play, which I think we can all agree on. It just is. What did you like out of what you saw? Like what were the parts that you enjoyed or you were interested in? What made it even passingly okay for you?
Nothing.
No redeeming quality whatsoever in what you saw.
It wasn't until towards the God damn it, load. I'm trying to figure out what matches were. Fucking. No. Okay. So the first set of matches is like the day one matches.
Right. That's
of MSI.
Fongvu 1907 Fenerbahce.
Yeah. So
Bombers and Isurus.
Yeah, okay, so the first half, like the first 5 matches of those were okay. It was when we got into the INTZ and the
The day 2 stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Group B.
Okay, yeah, Group B. Group B was garbage. Every match, it was like 73 kills in the game. Like, it didn't seem like they knew what they were doing as a team at all on any of the teams. I'm like,
they're just playing some
this, like, I don't often say, like, I could grab a group of silvers and, like, beat them. It's very possible. All right, so...
Like, I've got to say, so the big difference between the two groups, and Duck points it out right away, like, Fongvu and 1907 were the best 2 teams overall, and they were both in Group A. And honestly, I think Bombers was... Because the way it was drawn was there was a top pool and a bottom pool, or, Pool 1, Pool 2, and then 2 from each one to each group. And so Vega and Mega were also Pool 1 with 1907 and Fongvu Buffalo. And honestly, Fenerbahce and Fongvu, better than either Vega and I think Fenerbahce maybe would have lost to Vega in a best of 5, but they're right fucking there. And Mega was obviously nowhere near that caliber. Yeah. Detonation Focus Me was okay in Group B, and Bombers were pretty okay in Group A, I thought, overall. But yeah, like, all these teams, it's just... They were not as good.
Y'all told me that like Team Liquid was going to suffer in internationals, and I was like, okay, so they're just going to like shit
historically
the bed.
have, yes.
But I mean, I guess that wasn't Group A and Group B aren't.
To be fair, like the matches that are actually going to be challenges don't come up until this coming week.
Yeah,
like we have like the SKT matches,
and I really hope I see more of like
these matches were like I said, literally you would grab like 4 of your friends and like we're gonna beat these people. It's pretty possible.
Yeah. Well, and I found it interesting. It was just by luck of the draw to a point, but I feel like we ended up with about as good of a group as we could have gotten out of these 8 in Group A. The only thing I would have switched would be if you could put Detonation Focus Me instead of Isurus in Group A, would have been totally stacked, and the other team would have been, or the other group would have been complete snore fest. But what was interesting is that in Group A, we had a lot of teams who play aggressively and quickly. Because like you pointed out, Chase, in Group B, you saw, it'd be 37 minutes in, nobody's winning, and there's like fucking 50 kills. And in Group A, you would see 37 kills at like 20-some minutes, and they're about to close it out.
Yeah.
Like, they were aggressive and understood how to win, whereas it seemed in Group B... You would see maybe spurts of aggression, but it was mostly slower play, just because they didn't seem to know how to win.
Yeah, so it was basically the Fongvu Buffalo and the 1907 Fenerbahce matches that were somewhat coherent. It was when you got to like Mega, DFM.
DFM was okay.
Vega was probably one of the better ones too, but it was like ITZ and Mega that I was just like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I've got to say, our Latin American teams really failed to show up. INTZ coming from Brazil, and then the Latin America combined North and South League with Isurus Gaming. Those were the worst 2 teams out of the 2 groups combined. And it's just like, okay, so Central and South America apparently suck at this game. Like, Brazil has had some major upsets in the past. That's what they're known for. And... in no way did Brazil or Latin America show up at all in these groups. Like, Isurus got a win off of 1907 Fenerbahce, and that was it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure INTZ went winless.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
Like,
it'll be on the schedule on that page.
It took me forever to load that.
I know.
Let's see.
Right. But no, like, I just feel like we saw a good play out of Vietnam, which was expected. Yeah. Good play out of Turkey, which was expected, in Russia. Like, those are the 3. I think the surprise one that did way better was Japan, which is cool to see. Japan's the youngest region, period. Like, you can say Vietnam is, because they most recently split off.
Well, it tells you who won, not how many wins they ended up with. It's a bummer.
Oh, you can see if you look at standings.
She said schedule, so
I was thinking schedule, and then I would have to like math it out myself. But screw that.
So
this is way easier.
You're on the standings page.
Yeah,
they won 1.
Yeah, so
INTZ did win 1.
Yeah.
Okay, I assume it was probably over Mega because they were garbage.
It was literally Mega, INTZ, Isurus, and Bombers. Like, those matches were the most painful to watch.
Bombers had some okay stuff. DFM had some okay, but yeah, Isurus INTZ, I didn't see any, even when Isurus beat Fenerbahce, like, there was just nothing redeeming in that match. It was just Fenerbahce pissing down their own leg. It felt like I'm with Doug. I like that the LGL
that group went first.
is looking pretty all right.
Maybe.
DFM was. He said they played better here than they've played in their own league, kind of thing. And I think that's the sign of a team who's actually good players.
For which one? Sorry.
He said it for Detonation Focus Me, and I agree. Like, because the thing is, the thing is when you dominate your home league, which all of these teams do for the most part. Like, some of them had close things. Like, INTZ wasn't the favorite team coming out of Brazil, but they won. You know, there's things like that. But when you're the best, you're the biggest fish in your small-ass pond, it's important that you come to these international events and actually learn something and get better. Because if you walk in and you get shell-shocked, you're not doing anything to get better. You're just going to go home, maybe dominate again, and then come back and get your ass whipped next year, too. And not even next year, at Worlds. Like, if DFM learned from this and got better, maybe when they come to Worlds, they actually make it out into one of the 4 pools for the main stage. Like, that would be awesome. That would be a huge accomplishment, because no Japanese team has even been close to that before.
Really? So they have, well...
Yeah, they're a
will
very
they make
young
it to
league.
Worlds, or is it...
They'll get into the play-in stage.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because DFM was actually a team who went to play-in stage for Worlds last year. They played in the same group as Cloud9.
Okay.
And they were the only team who pulled a game off Cloud9, if I recall correctly. So
they have potential, but apparently they didn't show up at this MSI. Or just the other teams?
I think they actually looked better at this than they did at Worlds.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
to watch out for.
Yeah, I like seeing teams do that. Now, let's move on from these groups in general, because like we said, it's just they're a lower level of play. Some teams showed up, did all right, but it was the top coming from each of these. Fangfu Buffalo and Vega, groups A and B.
Yeah.
Sadly, 1907 doesn't get a shot because only one gets out from each.
Yeah.
I think if 1907 was against Vega, that would have been a really close running there. And it was even in Group A, actually, because they went to a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
They traded games and went to a tiebreaker, so it could be that 1907 and Fangfu were the 2 best. Okay. But we'll never know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Fangfu Buffalo had to face up at a best of 5 against Team Liquid from North America, our LCS home region here. And we had Vega face up against the Flash Wolves, coming from the LMS. The LMS has been seen for about a year or 2 now as a region on the decline, and the one region that's in danger of getting bounced by someone like, say, Vietnam, and becoming no longer the 5th best region in the world, but the 6th. You know, like, one of the emerging regions finally overtakes them. Like, if Fangfu were to end up being better than Flash Wolves, like, at that point, do we consider Vietnam to be a major region and no longer an emerging? You know, like, that it becomes really hard to decide.
Not versus Team Liquid, I should say.
Yeah. Well, let's start there. Fangfu versus Team Liquid.
Well, they got crushed, for the most part. I think the first game was the longest, and probably, I don't even want to say close, because it ended up to like 15-13, 10-2 turrets. Like, that's not close. And I think turrets speak almost more than kills in this game, considering objectives are when you have to kill the turrets to get to the inhibitor, to get to the Nexus turrets, to kill those, to kill the inhibitor, and that's how you win League of Legends. Yeah. Kills are, they expedite that process and get your champs powerful, but when it's 10-2 turrets, that says something. Like, TL had the upper hand, or TL was
just a
dominating. Bit. And then it was 9-2 turrets, and then 10-0.
Yeah.
TL crushed them. I wrote dominated.
TL lost a total of 4 turrets that whole series. Yeah. And granted, they went 3-0, so that makes it a little easier. But as much as I was worried about TL going to international, because last year what happened was, in the group stage, not where we are right now, not play-offs, but in group stage, they ended up.
They were only in group stage.
No, not the play-in group stage. Okay. The one we're about to head into. Cool. They had Ole bench himself after like 2 games. They were talking about that. And then he came back and they made a run. They brought
it up during the preview on day 1, I think.
Yeah. Well, and so he came back. They made a run. They tied Fnatic to get out of groups, and so they had to play, a one-off tiebreaker, and they lost. It's like, well, had he not benched himself, maybe they would have won. But like, this has been the curse of not just TL, but every number 1 NA team, which has been always like TL, CLG, TSM. Like, Cloud9's the one who does well internationally, but they never win Spring Split, so they don't go to MSI. The one time they won Spring Split was before MSI existed.
Oh, really?
It was All-Star game at that point, and actually there was kind of a curse then, because they were heading to All-Stars in Europe, and that's when Hai had a collapsed lung.
Ooh.
Like, just randomly had a lung collapse. Like, wasn't in a car accident or anything, just had a lung collapse. And so he couldn't go.
Yeah.
And I don't remember...
Oh, so he didn't even get on the flight.
Yeah,
I was thinking maybe something that had something to do with, like...
No, they will not let you on a plane if you have a collapsed lung.
I assumed it happened after, or that may have been they got there...
Yeah, no, it happened like the week before.
It happened. Okay. Man, that sucks for
like,
him,
if not a couple days before. But yeah, so... There's been this kind of constant NA, MSI
There's a clear
curse.
Difference now.
Right, well, and so...
You're going to say something completely
we'll see when we get to groups. We'll see when we get to groups. But I was a little concerned.
I think that there's a clear difference.
And I have to say, I was really happy with what I saw out of Liquid, which people can complain and say, oh, they didn't, like, smash them in, fucking 15 minutes each game, blah, blah. Honestly, what I liked most out of what I saw them is actually what made their games the least impressive. They tried being aggressive.
They did. Or they responded well to PvB being aggressive.
Right. I think Xmithy was the one person who didn't really get on the aggression train very well, and I think he needs to work on that because we'll talk about it when we go forward. Like, we saw, what's his name? The jungler from Fongbu.
Meliodas.
Yeah, Meliodas was the one person who really seemed to be testing Liquid. And it was because I think Xmithy wasn't ready to play the aggression game. But we saw Jensen go aggressive, over-aggressive at times, like on the Akali. We saw Impact play the Jace, and his gangplank is always a pocket pick.
Yeah.
His fucking 3v1 up top was disgusting. We saw Double Lift and Core JJ, which I think was the least surprising to see them go aggressive, but we saw them too doing it. And I was really, really happy to, see that, because... For fuck's sake, like, that's what I complained about them. That's what I was worried, is that right now it seems like the dominant meta worldwide, G2, IG, SKT, everyone it's aggression. And they're the one team that doesn't fucking do that. And so for them to, like, go, okay, let's get out of our comfort area. We can beat this team even if we're not playing our best. That's great, because if they can kind of bring that into a ball together and play... the amount of aggression TSM does with the cleanness that TL does, I'll be happy to see that in groups even if they don't, like, do amazing. That's fine. I was happy to see that out of TL.
I'm excited to watch TL for the groups, especially given that they're now up against not Clutch.
Not Clutch. A good team?
A good team.
What did you think of them against Fongvu? Series,
again, like, Fongvu played that bot lane aggressively, 3 summoners traded on each side in the first... at level 1.
Yeah, they were.
Now, like, I didn't expect that because we don't get that in the LCS very often, and especially not with TL. And TL, they handled it. They didn't die. They didn't, F it up. And then a little bit later, they turned it around for a double kill on the support, sadly, but a double kill.
Yeah, I saw Core JJ get that double. I was like, oh, that's really amusing.
Yeah. Well, and he didn't need to take that.
He didn't need to take the second
one. The second kill was like, why are you autoing?
Just to get it. You know what? Beat him.
That's the stuff I yell at Jeff for.
Yeah, so I think they did very well against PvB. That it made me think PvB didn't stand a chance against anyone else, but I guess that's just the tier of the difference.
Yeah.
Like, TL's actually pretty good guys, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the equivalent of watching, like, a whole bunch of different versions of 100 Thieves slap each other in the face for a while. Like...
So what did you think of TL versus Fongvu specifically?
I think that Fongvu kind of, like, kept up with them for a while, and then, like, they just very abruptly would fall off. Like, because, like, the gold... TL was never, like, really ahead in gold on a lot of those matches. Like, I mean, not leaps and bounds ahead. Like, they stayed pretty close. Like, they stayed pretty close in kills. It was usually the objectives, like, that they were fighting over, and Team Liquid usually got most of them.
Yeah.
And so it was like Team Liquid would clear most of their towers and also have died 12 times. And then Fongvu had also died, like, 13 to 15 times, but had 1 tower. And so it was just like they were making ground against the players, but not against the objectives that matter.
Right.
And so... And then, like, once you get to, like, that 4 or 5 item spike, it's just like it was over. Like, because Team Liquid has tower after tower, and then their gold spike happened. So
I think I take two things from what you said. One, you're saying like they'd have similar kills but different objectives, and that's kind of that next level of League, like where you go from learning. I mean, you can go the opposite way, but it's not as common by any means. But it's learning to win a fight. Okay, yeah, I'm getting good at playing my character and fighting, blah blah. But it's knowing what to do when that fight is over that is important. Like, oh, we killed them. Cool, we got some gold. No, the gold's not your advantage. This 12 seconds you have before they start running from their base, so you have, 24 seconds. What you can do in that 24 seconds is the advantage. And being able to understand, see the map, take 2 to 3 seconds maximum to decide what it is and then get it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. And we saw Liquid do it over and over.
I was going to say, Team Liquid is very good at doing that.
Yeah.
They capitalize on objectives or get 2 kills on the enemy team, back them off Baron, force it out, either get it or kill them for trying to get it. You win.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the major versus minor region thing. And then the secondary thing is, as much as those games look different, like watching them look different than what we saw TL do week in, week out, but when you describe it the way you did, that's what we watched TL do all year, just with less fighting.
Yeah.
Because they would wait until one fight happened where they won, and then all of a sudden, like you said, like you're like, oh, it's even, but there's some differences in objectives. But then all of a sudden, like one fight later on would happen, and then TL would just take everything. And that's what we saw them do all year. They just did it with more fights in between, I guess, when this came to it. So it's good to know that if they're doing more fights, they still have that mentality that they're not like, okay, we won this fight, what do we do now? Like, no, we still fucking know. It's what we did all year.
Yeah, I mean, so Double Lift, like, continues to do Double Lift things. I saw there was one time where he got caught out that it looked really bad. Like, he was running towards, like, the enemy tower with, like, 4 of them coming at him. And, like, he could have gone the other way, but he opted to run the other way for whatever reason. Like...
Never know.
Yeah. It was just, like, a split second. Like, he tried to run this way, stopped, ran the other way, and then got collapsed on by, like, 3 or 4 of them. I was just like, ooh, well... Core JJ just got away, and you fucked yourself, so...
I think I remember that. Core JJ backed off towards his turret, right?
Yeah.
Core JJ is like, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here, bro. It's all you.
It kind of happened, like, towards the bush.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Alright, so we've talked a little bit about TL and Fengfu. Let's move over to Vega versus Flash Wolves. Now, the difference here being, Vega took game 1 off of Flash Wolves.
Yeah.
Vega looked really good and convincing in that match.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw that match, I was like, wow, they're surprisingly pretty good. And then game 2 happened, and I was like, okay, maybe. And then game 3 happened, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then game 4
Maybe
was
not.
over. Yeah, I was just like,
They progressively... I forgot to write the time for number 2, but they got shorter and shorter.
Yeah, I mean...
Around the same time. They were longer games, though. Because that first one was 40, the longest, and they said 40
Yeah. I mean, it was with the Kurtis bot lane. So the thing we saw from Vega, not only in the group stage, but in their play-in attempts here, was that they have a very creative bot lane, especially. Like
really
they have
do.
a creative draft in general. They're very good at draft. Period. And part of that is on how flexible they are. But we saw it against Flash Wolves, and we'll see it more later. Like they aren't as good on the map as their opponents are.
I can see that.
In Group B, they were blessed with having a fairly weak stable of opponents.
Yeah.
Like, DFM was the only team who really challenged them. They lost 1 to DFM. I'm sorry, no. You're right. You were saying earlier, they lost 0.
Yeah.
They were undefeated until their last game. Yeah, and they lost to Mega, but they had already locked in first place.
So it didn't
DFM
matter,
was the only team who even looked decent against them.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last game, they didn't matter. They fucking trolling. But yeah, like, their bot lane was alright and all, and like, that's what got them through game 1. And, how do you pronounce it? Ananasic? Ananasic. Okay, which, Russian for pineapple.
oh. But yeah, I remember they're like, I can't pronounce this, so I'm just going to call you Pineapple.
Yeah, Frostgaren's like, I'm going to mess this up, so I'm just going to call him Pineapple. But yeah, because in ananas in like French is pineapple, but yeah, or Spanish, one of the two.
In Mega Lagers, of all things.
Yeah, right. But yeah, Ananasek is Russian for pineapple. Anyway, their jungler. He's a good jungler.
I agree. I liked watching him.
Like, and we
Not
saw
all
some.
the time,
We saw some just like good players from multiple teams, and we'll talk about this because we've seen some of those good players are already on other teams.
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's been some movement, but Ananasek was very good on Vega, and I feel like against Flash Wolves, other than game 1 where the Kurtis draft worked and it went long enough where the Kurtis draft really worked. Other than that, I don't know what their bright spot was. Like, they looked all right, but Flash Wolves was just better.
Like, the first game was definitely that meme. They got us in the first half.
Yeah, not gonna lie, they had us in the first half.
So,
yeah.
and but I really liked watching the last 3 games for Flash Wolves and Betty and Xiaoxi and Buji and Hanabi and like all of them were really fun to watch. Betty's Ezreal, I think in the second game though, is the one where I was like, he landed like 90% of his skill shots, all of them ever, even the old.
Betty's good,
it was ridiculous.
I can't remember who the caster is. But I my heart goes out to him a little bit, but at the same time I go, come on, man, because Xiaoxi in the mid, mid Xiaoxi or support.
He's support.
Support Xiaoxi.
So
he kept calling him Xiaohu.
Oh.
Who is a mid laner from in the past? Like he kept saying Xiaohu with whatever. I'm like, that is not Xiaohu. Xiaohu's retired. I'm pretty sure. I know you might not be, but like that is not Xiaohu. That's somebody else entirely.
I didn't even notice. I just assumed they were pronouncing it wrong, or
He was naming a different player. It's not even spelled close to the same. Xiaohu is like with an X. Like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was Xiaoxi. Like Flash Wolves looked good. I think the fact that they're able to drop a game the way they did drop game 1 should be a bit of a wake up call to them heading into the group stage. You cannot fuck up like that in the group stage.
I don't know what to expect, but I'm gonna agree.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, Vega versus IG, SKT, GT, like
they're not
those
teams.
Like,
I assume that they're not gonna win.
Yeah, those teams aren't gonna win just because like you shat the bed for 40 minutes. They're gonna win because they fucked you for 20. Like, it's a very different sex bed versus poop bed.
Apparently. You keep those
apparently! There's no German teams here. Scheiße.
Anyways, what about you? You talk.
What would you like me to talk about?
About Flash Wolves versus Vega. You got any thoughts on that as well?
I really liked how game 1 went for Vega, and then was very much disappointed after
Vega
that.
really that's Vega's opinion on the series too. I really like how game 1 went, and I was very disappointed after that.
Because watching them play in the group stages is like, oh, they're actually like surprisingly good. Like I mean, well, surprisingly decent, I guess. And I was really enjoying watching them. And then when the knockouts came, I was like, okay. But I mean, Flash Wolves is not a team to what's the word I'm looking for? To
take lightly?
Was to
underestimate?
Underestimate, yes.
Okay. Nice.
Like they're not a team to underestimate.
It's like what you said, but one word and longer.
Yeah.
I like it.
Sorry. Well, that was what was in my brain.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
They are not one to underestimate. Like
because.
Yeah.
Just because how they've showed up at Worlds and everything else. Sorry, my brain's trying to do 4 different things right now, and I'm doing none of them well.
So the usual.
Yeah. No. So Flash Wolves, they had a pretty good showing at Worlds last year.
Yeah.
And they weren't somebody that just came to Worlds and did nothing. So it wasn't unexpected that this is how the outcome came.
Right. And it's funny because Flash Wolves, and as Duck mentioned earlier in the chat, Flash Wolves are by far the best team in the LMS. Because we see it Worlds. I mean, you've seen it twice now at Worlds. I'm sure you've seen it in the past.
I actually know the team name, so yes.
Right. You see Flash Wolves and AHQ show up. And maybe somebody else, depending on how many seats they get. And does anybody besides Flash Wolves ever do anything? No. They just don't. Flash Wolves always wins the region. They're always at MSI. They're always not 1 seed at Worlds. And then AHQ is like in the back, and they just show up and they're like, "Thanks for bringing us, Dad." Like,
see, I don't know that one. So that's the little brother
Yeah, HQ. It's like the red unicorn logo. It's like the letters, but it
okay,
yeah, you know what I'm talking. Yeah. And they never do anything, but they're there at Worlds.
Yeah,
because they're second
of
place.
Love aren't there anymore.
I wish. I miss Unicorns of Love.
So what else about this game?
Ooh, that is tasty.
Is it good?
Yeah, if you want to try it. But yeah, I don't know. Flash Wolves is the best in their region by far, but when it comes down to it, I am still slightly afraid for their region.
Okay.
Because they played Vega. They did not play Fengvu.
Yeah.
Does Fengvu do much better against them? I don't fucking know. But we'll find out, because the last matchup here was those two teams who lost faced each other, Fengvu versus Vega, and Fengvu took that in 5.
Yeah. Well, they had to reverse sweep them.
I was surprised it went 5, and I was surprised it happened the way it did.
Same.
I think Fengvu was the better team and won.
They definitely looked like the better team.
But let's talk about the series, because I mean it was more interesting
already. Because wow.
I mean, unless you have stuff to say about Flash Wolves Vega.
Just the fact that they played all these cool champs.
Oh, I mean that's what Vega does.
Like Zhao.
Talk about
I haven't seen a Zen Zhao in like the LCS, maybe like once.
Well, I wanted to talk about like some of the random things that we saw, like we saw Jin Chao again.
Yeah.
Saw Vi finally pop out of the jungle.
I was gonna talk about Vi.
We've got more.
Well, Vi wasn't in this one.
No,
not this particular game.
Oh, you just mean overall. Yeah.
Well, in Vega in general, Kurtis in the bot lane. Were there other ones that stood out to you real hard? Because it was mostly Vega who brought us the spicy picks.
Yeah, it was. But it was, even though they lost, it was still fun to watch them because, like, a Nico Zillion's kind of cool, even though she missed, again, who was Broken Blade missing the pop flowers? Pop blossoms?
Pop blossoms.
She broken bladed, like, all of them. And I say she, but it's Gadget. So, if Gadget.
Gadget.
Yes,
but you're right.
Do you remember the old show? Sorry,
I know who Gadget is. Tiny little model chick. Gadget.
No, it's like the Power Rangers, was it? With the little mice? No. Come on.
Eventually, maybe they had mice?
No, it was the Disney.
Rescue Rangers.
Thank you, Rescue Rangers.
Yeah.
Power Rangers with mice.
Fucking,
I remember in that movie when the Ultra Zord comes out.
I would have gone more like Indiana Jones with mice, because, like, Chip,
her
I think,
has... Gidget, right? Or Gadget.
Oh, you're right. No, it's Gidget or Gadget. Yeah, the blonde mouse.
So I keep like I've been doing that since I watched the games. Of like,
Chip and Dale
associate Gadget with a she, and I'm so sorry, dude. Like personal sorry for that.
I don't know.
It's something in my head.
She was Gadget. We were getting the clutch corrections here. It was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers' whole name.
Thank you very much.
And Gadget was the cue.
That's why I was doing
group.
it. So
she was always making.
But he on Nico missed all the plot blossoms. Long story short.
Yeah.
And so it didn't work out, but they also had like the Kazakhs, which I like watching, and
Chip was dressed as Indiana Jones. I knew I remembered that correctly. Because Dale had a Hawaiian shirt on.
Oh yes,
he was a giant doofus.
Yeah. And then they also had like the Morgana Shin combo bot. Like it was just fun to watch them, or watch even though they did lose and it didn't play out.
Yeah.
You guys are like we're still half on some things, half on other things. Fuck it. That's all I wanted to say. No, cool champion.
Like,
good
job. Honestly, I actually like Gadget's Nico a lot.
I mean, but it's fun to watch, but it didn't work well.
When he got big though, he just ran down a double kill one time.
He did.
Like he straight up.
If he didn't miss the pop,
like he straight up saw the support and said, "Oh," and like 3-shot them. As he gets the last shot, the AD carry had been there thinking they could fight for some fucking reason. And I was like, oh shit, I want a GTFO. And it's like, nope, too late.
Oh,
and like, 3 shots the AD carry. It's just like, what just happened? Oh, man.
There were a handful of ridiculous plays just across the board.
Yeah. But, so, Vega, though, lost to Flash Wolves. And let's talk about them a little more, though, because they did go on to play Fengvu. And honestly, I
don't have notes for Fengvu, so.
I think Fengvu, they're better than Vega, not just to the point that they won this, but that they should not have gone 5 games. I think what Vega exposed in Fengvu is why it went 5 games. Fengvu has a garbage draft, and if you get aggressive into Meliodas' face...
That's what I was going to comment
There's an issue.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about
this. Is just that. It was literally almost that thought. Meliodas is a good jungle unless you press him, and then he's like running around with a chicken head cut off on the floor, I guess. I don't know. And Anasik is a good jungler who makes pretty good plays or calls or, just rotates well, pressures well. But I think PvV have the better team overall because I think Anasik is probably the best on his team.
I mean, Zeros is better than Boss in the top lane. Anasik is better than Meliodas, but they're both good. Null in the mid lane over No Man's. Like, No Man's isn't bad. His Rise, I think, was probably the best thing he played the whole group stage and period. But Null, a little better. And then the bot lane, honestly, I think, like, Big Cora, while he showed quite well at times, I think actually the difference in the bot lane is Pallet over Santa's.
Yeah, okay.
I think Pallet, especially on Galio.
Yes.
Like, I love Santa's Kench, but let's be honest, if you're a pro level support, you should be able to make Kench look good. Like, Santa's was not a Core JJ level Pallet. Let's not even fucking kid ourselves here. Like, Core JJ makes that champion look disgusting in every possible way. Like, he solo kills you with it, he gets everybody out alive, and then all of a sudden he shows up behind the 1/2 health motherfucker. Whoops.
What is it?
It says we're doing a different game.
Oh, Super Smash Bros.
Lalo pointed that out. I didn't realize.
You should change it, but...
I'm logged into that account.
Aww. But anyway, like, that's the thing, is that he was good on that, but not as good. Whereas we saw Pallet actually play a really good Galio.
Yeah. I honestly think Big Cora is better than Gadget.
I think he is too. Gadget, though, is a different kind of bot. Like, when we saw him play AD carries...
He was like Ashe and stuff, whereas Big Cora was Kai'Sa diving in.
Well, I don't expect Big Cora to be able to play Miko. I don't expect him to be able to play Kurtis. Like,
that's true.
I think that's an important bonus out of Gadget.
Yeah. But it's not like those things worked, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they didn't bring the team to the winning with those comps that you mentioned.
Exactly.
Except for the Kurtis, I think.
Yeah. And I think what we saw was, like,
even that was the
Vega was really good at drafting.
Yeah.
Fang Fu was better at playing.
Yes.
And the only place where I say that's not the case would be Anasik heading into Meliodas. Because he put Meliodas off his game. Yeah. Which is not something Xmithy did to him. And Fang Fu did make it through. They will make it forward. Yeah. But, I hope Xmithy realizes this and will play aggressive into Meliodas. But even if he doesn't, you damn well better know that the other three, like the three teams who have been waiting, like SKT, IG, G2, all of their junglers are going to jump down Meliodas' throat the moment they get in a match. Yeah. Like, they will
if they paid attention to this, then yeah.
They will be hard. They will be picking aggressive early junglers. They will be invading. They will be taking his shit and say, fight me. Because my laners are probably better than your laners. And so if it gets into it, they're going to collapse and we're going to 3v1 and not a 1v1.
But PvP collapsed for Meliodas a lot.
They do.
So.
But in this matchup, who's the better laners?
It's true. I think PvP has the better laners anyways.
I mean, and that's always the thing that helps like an aggressive jungler, is if you have the better laners, they're pushing, they can collapse.
So you're saying these other teams have the better laners over PvP, over Zeros and Null?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, like you're the Shy is going to beat Zeros down. Yeah. Like, come on. Yeah. Like Faker is not going to lose to Null. Yeah. Like, while these guys are good players, they're not that good. Like, the Shy and Faker are probably two of the best League of Legends players who have ever existed. Like, Faker is currently the GOAT, but the Shy has the opportunity to become that. Yeah. Like, after what we saw at this last Worlds, that guy's insane. He makes...
What did he play? What team?
Top. IG. IG's top. And, like, the thing about the Shy that you see, compared to every other top laner, like... And I think a really good example is, say, somebody like Impact. Impact's, he's trying to do the aggressive stuff, but he's always just been an amazing tank and amazing being, holding his lane, not necessarily dominating his lane. Like, if you overstep, he'll kill you because you do some stupid shit and take turret shots and stuff. But the Shy is... He makes every single top laner look good. Like, whatever...
Every champion.
Yeah, whatever champion you give him, if you hand him a duelist, you're like, oh, okay, that's how Fiora should be played. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
If you hand him Maokai, you go, oh, that's how Maokai should be played. I get it. He understands the game not just in a certain vein of fight, and not in a certain vein of champion, but in a holistic way. Like, I'm sure the guy puts in the reps.
Yeah.
And that's what's disgusting. Like, any one of us, we have certain characters that we're best at, and we like characters
I've got one character I'm best at.
Right, and we like characters who are similar to that as well. And you see that even in pro play. Like, obviously their pools are deeper, but it's like, okay, this guy's good at control mages. Mm-hmm. This guy's good at duelists. This guy's good at tanks. And the Shy plays anything. And, like, top is the most diverse lane, and he's like, yeah, I can play it. They're like, oh, what kind of top? No, I can play top. Just give me a champion, and I can...
Give me Nami. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna go top. That's cool.
If you give him the Nico, fine. If you give him the Rise, fine. If you give him the Aatrox, fine. Like, these aren't anywhere similar champions, and he's going to play them all and be disgusting on all of them. He's that good, and it's really fucked up.
So it'll be interesting when they play TL.
Top lane Garen for the Shy.
I would love to see the Shy bust out Garen as, like, a massive disrespect.
Why? Why would it be disrespect?
Because Garen hasn't been pro-viable, I don't know, since season 2.
So if he
just
dominates on it, then it's good?
He's easy to shut down. Like, I mean, he'll become super, super tanky, but that's it. Yeah. He won't. So he'll be worthless for team fights.
Yeah. The thing is, Garen's a stat stick, but he doesn't have mobility. He doesn't. When
he spins to win, he moves faster.
I know, and then
his Q makes him run faster. Like but he doesn't have dashes. He doesn't have blinks. He doesn't have anything special. He's a stat stick with nothing super special about him. Like, his silence is the most annoying thing, but the solution to him is the same as Yi. CC the shit out of him. He gets the one Q to get out of a slow only, I think. I don't think it cleanses stuns. I don't remember. But, like, he's got the one thing. In a pro setup, though, you layer CCs and you fuck. Like, if you gank him early, he never gets to the point where he's building health off of his Grasp of the Undying. Or you take a ranged into him and you just shit down his throat. Like, there's lots of ways to just beat up on a Garen.
Okay, so if he plays it, it's just a disrespect because he's that good, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised if he could pull off a Garen.
Yeah. If he busted out Garen against another top laner, the ideal disrespect back, and it's because it's also a hard counter, is Teemo.
That's what I thought. I would totally go Teemo against
Teemo
Garen.
hard counters him so
I fucking
bad.
love poking them. Like, you're in a bush and you're just poking people. It's great.
Yeah.
I love it. But I mean, no one's gonna play Teemo in pro play. I haven't seen it. I don't know that ever.
I don't know if Hai was the last person who did it or not. Hai did it
I'm
at
fairly
World.
certain I've seen it in pro
in
play. Like, maybe not NA, but definitely somewhere.
It's been somewhat recent, too. Last year, everything but
so
Vi
sad.
and, like, 2 other things got played. Or maybe Vi was the only one who didn't get played all of last year at some point. But yeah.
Well, she got reworked and she got played.
Yeah, she finally got played. But yeah, so when it comes down to it, though, Fangwu Vega, Fangwu's just the better, actually, in-game team.
Yeah.
And I hope their drafts get better, but I'm not confident they're going to win more than 2 games. In their whole...
Fangwu?
Yeah. It's a 6-team round robin, double round robin. They're going to get 10 games.
Okay.
I expect them...
Do you know how many matches that is? It's 30. There's 30 fucking matches between tomorrow and Tuesday.
No!
I told you it was a lot. You didn't realize.
I didn't.
You don't have to watch them all.
Yeah.
All right, so we got SKT, G2, IG, and who's the 6th? Who am I missing?
You put TL.
Yeah.
Flash Wolves.
Thank you. Yeah.
30 matches. I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah. So this team plays 5 twice. This team plays 4 twice, 3 twice, 2 twice, 1 twice.
Okay.
It gets you to 30. But yeah. No, I don't expect Fangwu to win more than 2 games.
Yeah. Okay. So they're out.
I think they're going 2-8 at best.
And then who's
best? I think they're going to beat Flash Wolves once and pull some other bullshit out of their ass.
Yeah. And how many teams are moving on after this? 3?
4.
4. So who do you think's out? PVB. Bye bye.
I think Flash Wolves is the other
That's
out.
what I
don't think they're as good as TL.
Suck 'em. Get out.
When it comes down to it, if you put TL up against Flash Wolves dropped one game. Granted, as weird as it was, but to Vega, I don't think TL drops that game. I mean, it's also partly a thing of the way TL plays. Like, they get late game and they do something and they take all the shit. But I just don't... I don't see Flash Wolves being good enough to make it out.
I think it's close, though. Like, I think Impact's better than Hanabi. Bougie and Xmithy, probably Xmithy, but like a little bit, only a little bit. Jensen over Rather. Double Lift over Betty, but I do like Betty. But Kurtis is going to carry.
So wait, who out of Flash Wolves, like you said, it's close, but did you choose anyone from Flash Wolves just now?
No, I chose none from Flash Wolves.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
So
like, it's close, but it's close on TL's side everywhere. And I think they play better, too, as a team.
TL? Yes.
Yeah, like, so if I checkmark every lane towards TL slightly, and the way they play as a team towards TL, like, if they lose a match, it's because they fucked up. Yeah. To Flash Wolves, that is.
So 30 matches just to get down to the 4, and then because I do plan to watch them all. Because I want to dedicate. It did suck not having nothing to do for 2 weeks, but at the same time, like, I did put off watching the matches. So maybe if I don't do that, it'll be a better experience. But we'll have a better understanding of where TL, SKT, or I will, of how they all kind of stack up.
Yeah.
And where TL stacks up against the others.
Well, and actually, the wild card going to all this is G2.
Okay.
Because, well, there's the wild card because we don't know what the support situation is.
Ooh. They don't have a support right now? Did you link this? They probably linked it.
So, Mickey.
I heard this.
Is it Mickey? Yeah, that's the support names. Wrist issues. And so they've been saying, like, the last thing we heard was a couple weeks ago. They said Mickey will play. Mm-hmm. We don't know how much he'll play. And the thing was that he's, recovering from these wrist injuries. And so he was only going to be able to play, like, 1 or 2 practice matches a day. Mm-hmm. 1 or 2 is a 10th of what all the other pros are playing right now.
I don't understand how they do this. Like, I play like more than 2 matches in a night. I'm like, okay, I want to go do something else. Like,
because you're not getting paid $75,000 a year to do this.
That's true.
If you're getting paid $75,000 a year to do this and you were that good, I bet you would play like 2 dozen.
Okay. You're probably right. Because I feel like at the end of the day, like I'm like I don't want to just do this.
It's Mickey X. There we go. Thank you.
For money, though, you have to add that in there. For money.
No. If for money, and I don't have another job, like if this is my job,
oh yeah,
that's doable.
Yeah.
Even then, I get burnt out on shit pretty easy.
If you were getting paid, let's say $20,000 a year to stream 6 league matches 4 days a week, I bet you'd do it.
Oh yeah. Because that's not so bad that I can't also keep my job, and that's a stack of money.
Right, but if you're getting paid more than you currently are to just play League 6 days, whatever a week, you'd probably take that too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Yeah. We've already established this has been a thorough yes between us all.
But anyway, Mickey X, though, so he's an injury, and
I also forget that they're all like 10 years younger than me too. Like that makes a little bit of a difference.
Well, what is the backup player's name? Starts with the P.
I don't know. Didn't you link it in the Discord or something?
I probably did at some point. Easiest way to be click on their team if you're looking at the schedule, and then it should pull up other people's.
Who am I clicking on?
G2.
Woo.
But anyway, the drop off.
Oh, it's Perks.
No, not Perks.
No, I'm just saying they're on
Promiscue.
Promiscue, correct.
I don't know who's on what team. I'm still like, I know they're out there and that they're going to be
like
here, but it's on this team.
But yeah, the drop between Mickey X and Promiscue is massive.
Promiscue.
I would say at minimum, it's the difference between having Core JJ and Ole.
Really? That's wow.
Okay, Ole hasn't looked necessarily as great this year. He looked better when he was on TL. Fair. But
it's easier.
It's not the same. TL, like Mickey X is the Core JJ of LEC.
Okay, so if you lost, have a hard time.
Yeah, like if you lost Core JJ, even if you had to replace him with, say, I don't know, what's a mid tier? Like, because it drops so hard in support. Like I think Ole was a mid tier support in NA.
Kinda, yeah.
Like, because it's seriously, it's like Core JJ.
This is what happens when you start doing hard drugs.
Oh, God.
You look like this. No, this is good. That's not good.
You're right.
Same fucking person.
But like
drugs.
like Core JJ, Zazel, and Smoothie were head and shoulders above I think every other support in the league.
And I don't even think JJ was like 5th or 4th. I thought he was like 3rd. I thought JJ was.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you get to
not good, even though his team was 4th.
Yeah, when you get to like JJ, Vulcan, like those were so far below. Promiscu is like maybe above that drop off, like Ole. That's what I'm saying.
So what you're saying is we're getting past G2. Yes.
It depends on what the play like, and honestly, if only Promiscu's playing, I don't know that the rest of that team can carry so hard to guarantee they beat Flash Wolves.
I don't know. I think
they can,
I
but I don't
G2's
know.
pretty darn good.
With Mickey X.
Eh.
If TL doesn't have Core JJ, do they make it out of group?
No.
Slightly different.
They'd still beat PvP.
But I'm just saying,
Flash Wolves.
Do you think they would beat PvP without Core JJ?
Okay, but who do they have instead?
Ole.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna.
I think they could even split with PvP.
They're gonna choke later.
Yeah, maybe.
Like
Ole would.
I don't.
Yeah.
Then that would be the issue.
If they have Ole instead of Core JJ,
sorry.
I don't guarantee that Flash Wolf doesn't beat him out of a group because I think Core JJ is that important, and I feel the same way about Mickey X for G2.
Right. Well, I don't know shit about G2, but I wish them luck. I will be excited to watch you guys play.
Well, and if you liked watching Vega, you will enjoy G2 as well because watching the unorthodox bot lanes, the mage bot lanes and stuff, as you know on G2, Perks, their mid laner from last year, is their bot laner now. And they brought in Caps from Fnac. So we see, we see Perks, former mid laner, now bot laner, play some weird stuff. I'm going to love seeing him, though, match up against these good teams, because he said before he swapped to bot lane and after he swapped to bot lane that basically, like, mid laners are better. They're the best players on the map. And so, of course, going to bot lane is easy, because you're just playing people who aren't as good as mid lane. And he dominated all year in LEC. So, I mean, I'm really excited to see him play some actually really good bot laners. Uzi, Teddy, Double Lit, like, Betty, like,
Uzi's on which team?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Uzi's RNG, so he's not going to play him. Right. Sorry. But yeah, like, we're going to see him play some, like, legitimate best-in-the-world bot laners. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see if, like, he can fucking back it up.
See, I know this one. I know SKT's team. Who's on IG? If you can go there for me. See, I don't know any of these. I've maybe heard the name Jackie Love and Ning.
Oh, Jackie Love's been around forever.
Well, didn't Bowlin
Tiger, Allen.
Wait, no.
Bowlin?
Was it Bowlin that just did a swap somewhere? No.
I don't recall.
No. I don't think so.
So, Alan,
you
say you don't have much confidence in TL because they play too slow. So I commented earlier that seeing TL actually try and be aggressive against PvB, like not necessarily being the best of it, but trying to show that aggression, that gave me a little more hope for them. But where we're at right now, actually, we're discussing the group stage. While you don't have confidence in TL, I need to ask, how do you feel about them getting out of the group? Because that group, you only have to be top 4. I think we all agree, IG, SKT, out. G2, if they don't struggle insanely hard, should be top 4. Like Promiscu would have to play all the games, and they'd be garbage with Promiscu to not make it out, because I just think, like, the rest of that team's really good. Wonder, Caps, Perks, fucking fantastic. Yankos is good as well.
Wonders the jump.
Unless Fongvu and Flash Wolves like pull magic out of their asses, there's no way I'm worried about any of the other 4 teams.
Yeah, and I think that then that's what I'm kind of asking towards Alan as well. Like, I mean, really, like, do we think TL's at risk of not making it into the playoff, like into semifinals? Because
which is the last 3 or the
last 4?
Last 4.
Yeah, because I don't think Fongvu's good enough. None of us think Fongvu's good enough. And if teams are playing even remotely as good as they should, I don't think any of us think Flash Wolves are good enough either, unless they turn it way the fuck around.
So we're going just the next 2, like this next 37 matches, then it's down to 4. And then it's going to be 2 teams. Those 2 winners go on to
best of 5. Okay. Those go on best of 5.
We've got like 96 more matches to watch between now and like the beginning of the next.
Oh, you just tripled the 30 and added 6 some. There's the 30, 2 best of 5s, and the 3rd best of 5.
Yeah, 76.
So
92?
A total of 45 possible.
Is it?
Well, plus tiebreakers, so it could be more.
It
could technically go up to like
5.
Yes.
So many
Now
matches.
we're on the same page.
So many matches.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, it's a
be
lot of
fun.
matches. But honestly, the thing is, it's going to be good fucking matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be good from here on out. Like, we got, like, 4 days of Bubble Wrap Midget fighting. Like, I'm ready for some good
Please
league.
don't be a disappointment.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, so one of the... I think there's 2 really, maybe 3 interesting things going on here. One of them is definitely G2 with Promiscu, Mickey X. Like, who's going to be playing? How will they do if Promiscu is playing? Or even if Mickey X
So
is
it's not
playing?
even decided yet.
We don't know what's happening. Like, because they have the 6-man roster
Yeah.
allowed.
But then they can just announce it last minute and be like, yo, we got this guy on stage.
I'm pretty sure they probably have the same rule where it's like 12 hours beforehand they have to say who's playing.
But basically,
yeah.
so we don't
Yeah, basically, the night
I thought
before,
you knew.
teams will know who their opponent is.
Gotcha.
And it's each game, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they can switch it out?
They can swap between games.
So they just have to say, we're going to be using him.
Yeah. So,
That's
like,
it.
so say you play at noon.
Okay.
I think it's like 9 p.m. the night before or something. Like, there's a time cutoff where you say, what is your roster for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Starting roster. So your first game. And they all announce that. So say they say it's Mickey X.
Yeah.
Say after game 1, he's like, my wrist hurt. Immediately following game 1 is when you have to say what your next game will be. You know,
Okay.
after any given game, you say, okay, our roster for the next game is this.
Okay.
So if Mickey follows that game, like you have 10 minutes, probably half an hour, and he's like, my wrist hurt, then they can say, okay, for the second game, promise you sign in.
Okay, cool.
And that's how it'll go every single day.
All right.
But I think that, so story 1 is, or interesting thing number 1 is G2, how do they do depending on which support's playing, how much, etc. And that includes Mickey X because he's getting less practice. Like, the guy's obviously really good, but if you're practicing less, that could affect you. You know, especially if there's new strategies, it's a different patch, all that stuff. Which it is a different match for sure.
So does he have a wrist issue from playing League?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's like the worst.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's when you are a professional video game player, like, on PC, that's very common, because you're like this all day.
Yeah.
It's just carpal tunnel, basically.
Yeah, that's usually what it is.
Damn.
Because all the tendons pass in and out of a
mean,
little
still,
area
like,
and it
he's young.
inflames it.
I mean...
But yeah, so...
You want to see what happens when you have carpal tunnel? They cut your hand open from here.
Oh, that's
to
right,
here.
you got it. I forgot.
I showed signs of it. That's not why they went in there. But they were like, we'll get you a freebie in here while we're...
What? What?
Yanko Smithy
Yeah,
probably
well,
got
so I
some
had surgery on my hand. I had a tumor.
Okay.
It was benign. It was totally cool. But they saw signs of, like, carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
And so they're, like,
You
preemptively...
do all day
yeah.
there. Fucking, I can't do all, like, the settings and stuff into people. Oh, medical dramas now.
So, I think that's interesting thing to watch, number 1, G2.
Yeah.
Number 2, SKT. The return of Faker with a, like, whole new team around him.
Yeah.
What will happen there? They were good enough to win LCK, but we also saw the LCK eat hard fucking dirt at the end of last season. Like,
Sorry,
at
guys.
Worlds, LCK got shellacked up and down.
What, last year?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't even make it to Worlds.
No, LCK period.
Oh, LCK.
Yeah, the LCK period got shellacked at Worlds.
Okay.
They didn't even make fucking semifinals.
That sucks.
Like, they got 2 teams into quarters. KT Rolster got smacked by IG, which, okay, in retrospect, not so bad. And Cloud9 3-0 to Freak of Freaks. And I don't even remember what the other fucking team at Worlds was from the LCK. And they didn't even make it out of the fucking group.
Okay.
Like,
I know.
shit.
So, I don't think it's
King
so much
Zone.
fake.
King Zone, thank you.
To
So
go
I
to
stole
your
that from
point.
chat.
Yeah.
I
I
think
saw
it's
it too.
Teddy.
Teddy. Well, no, and I think
Teddy's more of the team.
I think Teddy's great. I mean, Faker's still good, obviously. I'm curious to see, though. I mean, two things overall, but it's the SKT encapsulate. It's SKT back / Faker coming back. And it's LCK as opposed to how they did last Worlds. Because it was only, 6-8 months ago, whatever the fuck it was, that they were not good. They were the 4th best region at Worlds.
Yeah, but
The best region forever was the 4th best.
But that was only because SKT. Like, that SKT was the best region. It's not...
No, because we've seen all Korean finals 3 times out
Yeah.
of 5 years.
Well, wasn't it... Okay, Samsung Galaxy.
Galaxy versus SKT.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
And we saw SKT versus somebody else, I think, too. Or maybe it was Galaxy.
So you're saying SKT was there all 3 times, and you're making my point for me?
What about the Samsung Galaxy, though? They were there twice.
Fair. You're saying they were both face-to-face.
And actually, it wasn't King Zone, it was Gen G. Because that was Galaxy, and they didn't make it out of groups because they got their shit kicked in by everyone in that group. They were the worst team in their group.
So SKT and Samsung are both LCK. So you're saying LCK got to fight LCK in the Worlds prior to this past one where
like
IG won.
3 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. Obviously, LCK had the biggest Worlds presence.
And to back that up, although also we've seen those other teams do well. We've seen King Zone do well. KT Rolster hadn't made it because they keep fucking choking on their own dick.
But they had one.
They made it. This time and back in like season 2 or something. Right. But like. And you're right in that it's mostly SKT, but also Samsung.
You're more, honestly, after thinking about it, you're more right. Because if LCK is fighting each other at Worlds, 4 times in a row almost, it means something.
I mean, season 3...
I didn't realize they shit the bed that hard.
Yeah. Season 3, we saw both Samsung teams and SKT make it.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck.
That's crazy. And then... I don't know. It's still Faker. I agree, but
right. And so I think that's interesting thing number 2. How does SKT/Faker/ the LCK as a whole, Korea as a whole, come back and perform here?
Who are the other ones? How are the other teams doing? Answering that first, because I haven't kept up with that.
We don't know because they haven't played each other. Yeah. Or do you mean the other teams in LCK?
Other teams in LCK. Yeah.
It was pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
was it as close as
SKT was the team that we knew was the best. So yeah, it was kind of like TL, TSMC9, whereas okay, we know one of these teams is the best, but there's competition still.
All right.
We knew TL was the best in NA, but Cloud9 and TSM both had an argument to be well, maybe we can take them down.
But SKT didn't win as completely as TL did they?
I don't recall.
Given even if you at least consider the fact that TL didn't throw the last 3 or whatever, right. Not counting that.
Right? No, in playoff style, yeah. So I think that's.
I wonder because I don't think SKT did as well, but maybe the competition's there just harder. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's story number 2. So we have the G2, we have the SKT thing.
No, what was
and I think number 3 is TL.
Well, yeah.
Can NA add an international competition and it not being Cloud9 fucking show up and do anything, especially when they're the one team who's not playing as proactive a style as everyone else? Will NA continue to be the little brother of the major regions? I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't think people even think of the LMS, Flash Wolves, etc. as being a major... They're the biggest minor region almost. They're a major region, but they're not really a major region anymore.
I think it comes down to mental strain, because, I mean, they're going to be playing a shitload of matches over the next 5 days.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to mental fortitude than anything else, I think. If they show up really well on days 1 and 2, they might struggle on days 3 and 4. I don't know. That's a lot of pressure for a lot of days. Usually, what they're used to is they play 2 games over a weekend. They get 5 days off. Well, because they're scrimming and stuff. But then... it's 2 more matches on stage, and then they're off for 5 days. This is just match. Yeah. So
I mean, that's how every international is, and I don't know if that plays into why Cloud9 as an org is the only one from NA who does well ever. But I mean, outside of MSI, CLG, MSI got to semifinals once, but yeah, otherwise we see at Worlds everyone fails, and maybe that's the issue. I don't know, but at this point, TL's been there enough; they should fucking know.
That I think I don't want to sound optimistic considering this is the only LCS and MSI I'm following, and I don't know the complete histories of all the other ones that have happened. You have a much better knowledge base on that, but I hope I'm not too optimistic in saying that. I think it'll be different just because I'm hoping the team is taking all the necessary steps to refresh themselves daily, play the matches and that's it. But then make sure you get the sleep schedules. All I hope they got that shit figured out. That they're not eating fucking Burger King at night and shit. Come on. Well, I hope they're doing everything possible.
So that's actually a thing that comes up a lot when you come to these international competitions from the teams that have to travel. Mm-hmm. Not only do you have to adjust to the time zone, which you get there early so that you can adjust, but it's living in a hotel or whatever accommodations your team get and the foreign food. That's a big one people talk about. Now the question is that more of an excuse than anything? Like, yeah, it makes you have your comfort zone.
I don't know.
But should it affect your level of play to that degree? Probably
yes,
not.
I think so.
I actually agree. Like, I've traveled internationally several times. Like, it's really easy to like eat something that your stomach doesn't agree with, and then you are wrecked for 24 to 48 hours. Like,
but these guys aren't also grabbing food at near some random hostel.
We hope not. Is what I'm saying.
Like,
I suppose.
Like, if these guys go, hey, I just want some like stir fry that has like really sugary fucking teriyaki sauce in it, I think they can probably get it.
I'm sure they're probably eating healthier. Like,
that's what I'm hoping.
I bet everything's probably catered to them versus like them having to go find stuff. So
like
that would make a lot of a difference.
Organization, that probably not that much of an amount of money to have handled, I guess, during the trip.
Well, I'm assuming they've got somebody there locally saying like, hey, here's what you want to eat to be good.
But like bringing it to them, you think maybe?
Oh, I'm sure it's being brought to them.
Okay, cool. Just make it. Yeah, definitely. Double lift does not lift a finger while he's there. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Core JJ,
he lifts this finger to fucking click and kill you. Or I'm saying this finger to click and kill you.
Anyways, but from what we said, like my first 2 sentences probably into this podcast, what I think is different is Core JJ.
Yeah,
and that's going to make the difference.
I hope so.
Yeah, he has the presence in internationals. So does Jensen, Xmithy, and Impact. I think.
Yeah. Oh, Impact's a former world champion.
Yeah, that's what it is. I knew one of them was.
Yeah, Xmithy's been to worlds or to worlds and internationals, but he hasn't. Kind of like Double Lift. They've been a bunch of times, but they haven't done much. Okay. Well, and Jensen being on Cloud9, like the deal heading into this season was Double Lift would get Jensen a NA title, and Jensen would get Double Lift out of groups internationally.
Not even the title, just out of groups.
Yeah, well, because Double Lift's never made it out of groups. Yeah. On TSM, nope. On TL, nope. On CLG, nope. CLG did all their like good shit the moment Double Lift had left.
Is that only for Worlds or is that MSI as well?
Period. Yeah.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Because I feel like MSI is like much lower stakes.
Yep. They would have made it out of groups last year if they had won the tiebreaker against Fnatic or one game prior to that. Damn. But they didn't.
I think I think it'll happen this year. I really do.
I think so too. I think honestly, when it comes down to it, Feng Vu and Flash Wolves just aren't good enough to keep them in groups. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think TL's maybe good enough to take it. If
how many of these other teams are used to
take
playing?
it all?
Yeah. Well, I'm only saying that because I'm fucking do it.
You fangirl
you're
on
there,
that
girl. Yes, basically.
I don't know whether we come down.
I think it's probably IG SKT.
They're top 4 to me.
If they did.
If it's IG, I think it's probably IG, maybe SKT, and if G2 is playing with Mickey X and like their crazy shit works, like if they can show up internationally the way they do in LEC, basically it's the question of, is their home region just weak outside of them? Or are they that good? If the answer is they're that good, G2 could
So you're calling TL 4th? Oh, I'm so sad.
I'm calling TL 4th.
Right.
Unless Promiscuous playing a bunch, then I think TL 3, G2 4th.
So are we making actual predictions? Because I don't know. I can do it, and I'm going to put TL first just because I don't know.
In the group stage, I mean, we're not taking our real predictions, but if I had to say, I'd say group stage, IG, SKT, G2, TL, Flash Wolves, PVB.
Okay.
I think that's the pretty standard
I'm putting
thing.
TL first, SKT, then G2, and then IG. No, IG.
You legitimately.
I'm literally just going down the list.
Yeah.
TL's first. Okay.
PVB you have at the top.
Well,
so obviously they're first. All right, so Chase, if you want to pull up the Discord, let's talk a little bit about the movement we've seen happening here in the wake of the group stage or the play-in stage of MSI, because there have been quite a few players jumping around.
I don't know anything.
So
for us in the LCS,
first item is Treats, the Academy TSM player. He's no longer a cardboard cutout.
he did get his visa approved finally, so TSM's Academy support can now actually be in the U.S.
So I didn't realize that he had been playing remote, and because I don't follow the Academy stuff at all.
To be fair, with the Academy, they all play remote like all the time for the most part because they don't play in the studio.
I know they don't play in the studio, but I thought they had like their own like studio type thing, or at least
they play from the team houses if they are even at the team houses. It is a player by player basis.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I figured, like, I guess their team room where they're all playing together versus them in their team room, but...
Some are, some aren't. It just depends on where they live and age and all that stuff.
Yeah. The Mugen thing from Inven Global, did you see that?
I don't think I saw Mugen.
He's not moving. He got fined.
He got fined.
No, Mugen.
Mugen is not moving.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I said moving.
No, not moving.
Yeah, I did see that. He got fined for yelling at someone.
Like, making, like, death threats and shit to, like, young female fans.
Yeah, that's fucked up shit.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna be surprised if he keeps his job. Like, I guess, like, he's in a different part of the world where treating women like shit is actually more socially acceptable than it is here.
Yeah.
But that's
it's
neither here nor there. Alright, so, Ruin left 1907 Fenerbahce.
Yeah, which Ruin looked very good. I mean, this is what we start seeing. Players who looked really good in the play-ins on their team got offers pretty fucking quick. So Ruin, where is he heading?
CLG.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's the thing that's nearest and dearest to this show. Darshan is gone. Darshan's no longer on CLG.
I love Darshan.
I remember Zion Spartan Darshan. Okay, like, wow.
I hear Zane talking right now.
Because he remembered Zion Spartan as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ruin left 1907 Fenerbahce. He's coming NA next split, I imagine.
Actually, I want to talk about that one for a bit before we move on, just because we know stuff about that. What surprises me there is that they immediately jettisoned Darshan. They're not making Ruin play for the position, anything like that. They're just like, okay, like, it seems like the most CLG thing that could happen, that Ruin comes in and just fucking eats shit and is never that good. And they got rid of somebody who's at least okay still. Like, that seems like the most CLG thing, to be like, because they fucking got rid of Double Lift and brought in Stixay, which Stixay did fine while he was playing with Afromu. Like, they won titles.
Stixay, Biofrost, Power of Evil.
Yeah, now it's Stixay, Bio, Power of Evil, and...
We only know that Darshan has left CLG.
No, we do.
No, I'm saying all we know is that he has left. We don't know if he's going anywhere else. Like, it's possible that he has something lined up somewhere else.
I know, but my assumption is he was under CLG contract, and CLG released him. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Like, it seems like the most CLG thing to not bring in Ruin and just be like, you two fight, who's better? But to go, we're bringing in Ruin, you're gone. Yeah. That seems like the most CLG dipshit mistake you can make.
I don't like CLG more and more as we go on. I'm not...
I don't have strong feelings for or against them. They're just kind of there.
I don't dislike them. I just feel like they make stupid decisions a fair amount.
Okay, anything else? Was there more?
Yeah, there was another one.
We could talk a long time about how.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to get into that.
Kyrie joins Misfits.
Kyrie from Fenerbahce as well?
Oh, I think it was the second Fenerbahce person.
I believe it's another Fenerbahce player, mid laner. He joined Misfits, though, yes? You said? Yeah. And I think that's a nice pickup for Misfits. And notice you don't see, Misfits also jettisoning whoever they had. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. Like, they might be, I don't know. But it's kind of like when 100 Thieves picked up Levi, which was the Vietnamese jungler. They didn't, like, immediately boot whoever they had. They're just like, okay, Levi's going to compete. And then he never showed the fuck up.
Oh, yeah. Kyrie abruptly leaves 1907 Fenerbahce.
Or is he the jungler? Hold on. Tiger Claws.
Jungler is Kyrie.
Okay, he's jungler. Okay, I knew he was Fenerbahce, but yeah. So Kyrie, the new jungler, then.
Yeah.
And I assume he'll play. He was a good jungler for Fenerbahce. I've got to feel a little bad for Fenerbahce to be losing as many players as they are. Like, they lost 2 real fast. After,
that sucks,
after
you just said they were
being
pretty good.
this fucking close. Yeah. They went to a fucking tiebreaker against Phongvu in Vietnam.
I mean, to be fair, it's this close to groups.
Yeah. Right, but, like, they were playing against Phongvu, which is Vietnamese, in Vietnam.
I thought that was kind of like a heartbreak match for 1907.
If they were in Group B, maybe they take it in a best of 5. I don't know. I think they're better than Vega. But that team's getting stripped apart now, and I feel a little bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about them, but you said they were doing all right, and then they lost 2 people. That sucks. And one of them's taken over for Darshan.
And I love Duck made this comment here, and I thought about this as I saw these coming through the wire. We're seeing like a couple players getting like pulled from these emerging regions. Still nobody imports NA players. Period.
I mean, I still think it's probably that NA players don't want to go overseas.
I think it has a lot to do with how much you get paid in NA versus other places.
I mean,
They get paid a lot.
The problem so half the problem is that if
There's
you go
also
over
stigma,
there,
but-
you're gonna be stuck scrimming most of the time you're over there and playing. And so
You do that here too.
no, I'm sure, but like they come here to
It's
make
gotta be
real
more
good
frustrating
money.
to go over
But if you
there.
go over there, it's like you're basically confined to a room. You don't know anyone. Your family is like 1,000 miles away, and you can't even like go visit things around you because
That's
you're
for
gonna be
every player who imports anywhere, though. So you can't make that argument that NA people don't want to do that. Because there are ones who do.
I'm saying that the people that we import, they make so much money that they're okay with hanging out in LA.
Oh, well,
like LA is
yeah.
going to be much better than whatever shitholes they're all coming from.
That's what I'm saying. It's a money thing.
USA. I'm sorry.
And I actually completely disagree with Alan and Doc saying that there's no NA players who are worth importing. Like, probably got imported as a coach, but like there are players in NA who would be worth it if you wanted them. Because making the argument that there's no NA ones, you're working off this assumption that like, oh, it would have to be somebody who can't start. It's not true, because all the other imports are starting players, period. Like, we have Sven in NA and Bjergsen in NA. Not because they weren't be good enough to start in EU, but because they were good enough we fucking wanted them and paid for them. Like, if a team in EU wanted to pay for a starting jungler, top, like, if somebody in EU wanted to pay shit tons of money to get Licorice, they could.
Yeah.
They absolutely could, if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, assuming, one, they have the money to do so, Licorice would be willing to move. Yeah. But saying there's no NA talent that's worth being imported is just patently untrue. Because there's great...
Who said that?
Alan and Duct in the chat here. Like, there's been none that have gone, but that's also, like, I think it has a lot to do with the stigma of NA as a region, which is earned, and the money. It has a lot to do with the money.
And living in the USA. I mean, I don't know, like...
I'd be down to go live in Berlin.
People in other... Yeah, but we're American. Of course we want to get the fuck out of here. But, like, everybody else wants to come and live in LA. That's dope, right? But for us, it's like...
because everyone else in the world thinks Trump's a genius.
No.
Said everyone else in the world.
Also no.
Well, I guess it's just Poland.
What?
But yeah, no, it's definitely a money thing that, like, NA players... I mean, and that's part of why we're able to import players so easily. Like, yeah, we may pick somebody who's slightly, like, off their prime, like, say, Bang or Impact when Impact came. Like, okay, they had finished, and then they had a not good season, and then we brought them over with a buttload of money. But somebody like Sven was crushing it in Europe at the time. He had nothing to prove to anyone. He came... Well, I think the story is that TSM wanted Mithy, and Mithy said, I'll go if Sven comes. But Mithy at the top of his game, too. It's a money thing. Like, and Livy in LA definitely has a draw, too. I think if LEC was in London... you might see more people interested in...
Where is it at, actually?
Berlin.
Well, yeah.
Is it Berlin? Yeah, it's Berlin. I know it's in Germany.
Right.
More
Pretty
people
sure
for
Berlin.
London, yes, but I would still go to Berlin.
Oh, as would I.
I'm going to Berlin in 2 months.
There's so much good beer there. But, yeah, like...
It's all the same kind
I think the
I
main
don't
thing
know
comes
where that
down to
is.
money, but I honestly, I find it weird, and we've talked about this at the end of the season episode that we did, that... there's certain players who should totally be imported to Europe. Like, that we think it would help some of their team. Somebody like Dardock or some shit who's, like, kind of run out of chances here. Like, maybe, it'd be stricter there or whatever. Like, there's players who are really good but not necessarily playing because of different reasons. Or even ones who are just on bad teams. Like, there's not... like, Pobelter could probably be really good in Europe still. Like... would he, like, be on a number 1-2 team? Is he Caps? Fuck no, he's not Caps, but he's still a good mid laner. So there's things like that.
They should import Aframu to whichever one's the most strict.
Fucking slap him in the face whenever he fucks up.
Well, just saying.
You do what I tell you not to do, slap in the face.
Yeah, and I think, like, where we really talked about was, like, the 2 teams that sucked in LEC, Rogue and Excel, that they could just, like, buy some of those Cloud9 players.
No, not Cloud9.
Cloud9 Academies.
No, I don't even want them to go. I
Yeah,
want Cloud9 to stay here.
No, Cloud9 Academy. You don't even know those players.
What? Keith?
Okay, you know Keith.
You think I don't know Keith? He's the only one
He must have better hair than I remember.
It was his jinx. He did fantastic.
But yeah, like, I think there's players that could definitely be beneficial to especially low tier EU teams. And usually, like, imports are always either you're really bad and you need to improve, or you're really good and you're topping off. Like your core JJ import, we're really good, we're topping off.
I think they could do well there, yes, to agree with you, but I don't want them to go. They were a solid team for Cloud9 Academy. Keep them. No, you don't even need anything else right now. Cultivate that.
I would not be surprised if they did just sell it as a full 5-man.
And if they did, I'd respect that. I'd respect that to the ends and back.
And from a business perspective, too. Were there any other ones we have not discussed?
As far as moves, no. There was the Balkan.
Balkan, yeah.
He just left.
Right. He went free agency after getting a few offers, I believe.
Oh, is that what it was? He got a few offers?
No. Balkan was another jungler?
Yeah, Balkan was a jungler.
For... Bombers, yeah. So the jungler for Bombers, the Oceania team, Balkan,
that's the one I said nice tats on.
He had a few... Right, he's got the blue koi on
tats.
Yeah. He's kind of chubby.
No, I mean...
I don't know. But he received a few, like, inquiries, I believe, from international teams. Yeah. And so he decided to become a free agent.
Well, good luck to him.
So, yeah, my assumption is he'll be picked up as a... kind of like Levi was, maybe like a bench player for an NA or EU team, and then if he is good enough, he'll start for them. That'd be my assumption. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's really honestly, my biggest interest out of that was just how many players from the group, from the play-ins, immediately like got offers or like were asked about so much that they're like, cool, peacing out from my team.
I know.
And like, say Fongvu or like they do all right but not great.
Yeah.
Are they gonna have a few of their players grab too, or are they gonna stick around and be like, no, we're gonna be better next year. We're gonna make Vietnam a better region than it currently is.
I'm surprised that these turnovers are so quick for teams that are getting into the world stuff. Like,
yeah, it was so fast. Well, and that's another question. Like, so Fenerbahce lost 2 players. Yeah. Do they even make worlds? Yeah. With 2 players gone, are they even going to be good enough to be the best team in Turkey this next split?
I mean, they're already doing this every year. Every team has a switch almost every year. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So they're used to it, right?
Yeah, right. So but mid-season, I don't know. That's even harder, I think. It'll be interesting to see out of Fenerbahce having lost 2 players, the Bombers having lost 1 player, if we see these teams make it back in Worlds, because those regions only send 1 representative, so you have to win that split. It's not NAU where it's like, well, 3 teams go, combined points, blah blah blah. No, it's did you win, you go. Did you not, you lose.
Well, okay, so we have 10 teams versus their 4, 5, 6.
What total in their leagues it varies. Yeah. Some of them have 16 leagues, some have 8, 10. But yeah.
Alan, do you mean Dignitas? I feel like you mean Dignitas.
What do you say?
He said, what do you think of Immortals enter the LCS?
He does mean Dignitas, and I'm excited for it, but that won't be until next year.
Season. Yeah. Next year? Well, so next season. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Same.
We're in season, whatever this is, part B.
Yeah, they're just referring to it as the 2019 season now.
I would be very, oh wait. Immortals and Dignitas are both coming in?
Immortal is by Optic Spot. Has that actually been confirmed? Because I haven't seen that. I'm guessing that's a rumor. Yeah. And also, it would have to be approved by the ownership, which has definitely not happened yet.
I guess I didn't see any. I usually troll Reddit quite a bit.
It would actually have to be approved by both ownership as well as Riot. It has to make it through a multi-layer process. And actually, that's the thing with the Dignitas stuff is... if they were to do a rebranding, that would have to be approved as well, and that has not been, even that buy was technically rumor at the time, but there was confirmation all over it, whereas I have not seen the Immortals stuff.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. I would like to see Immortals back. I think it's a better brand for LCS than Optic is, if that was to be the case. Dignitas definitely a better brand than Clutch is.
From the last month or so.
As far as esports go, Optic's a good brand, but it has no.
Says Immortals raised $30 million, enter bidding for Optic Gaming that's a week ago.
Yeah, so
How did I
Well,
miss
and
that?
even then, like, all this bidding, that doesn't necessarily mean shit.
No, yeah.
Like, well, no, I'm just saying for Alan, like, these teams can try to buy the spot whatever they want, but Riot and the other owners all have final say on this. And it has to, I think it's super majority approval from owners. Like, it's not like, 6 of the owners are okay with it, like 8 of them. Well, I guess 7, because you have to remove yourself. So instead of 5, it has to be like 7 approve. Like, it's not easy.
Didn't Optic finish pretty poorly?
Yes, they did.
I'm sure they're probably getting close to relegation. I mean, not close. I mean,
Right.
it's like a couple of years.
So,
but
there
still.
is a not just, is this team bad thing if you're an owner, if you're Riot. Like, if you're Riot, it's, okay, is this team that's trying to come in, are they in it for the long haul? Are they solvent financially? Do they have plans, etc., etc.? Other teams, little bit plans. Also, did you just suck ass and now you're cashing out because your spot's worth more? Fuck you, stay in here until you lose money. Because some owners may feel that way.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
don't know
remember
how
that.
that works, but that's kind of...
Like, you could make that if you're somebody who's, like, kind of treading water in the league, and, like, this person's somehow, like, making money by leaving, you might totally say, no, fuck you. Stay here and make it work. Because, you know, if they have a feeling that Optic didn't try, maybe they want to screw the people rather than letting them make money, or they might have the opposite thing of, you're not trying, get the hell out of here.
They only had this, 1 year, 2 years?
2 years,
Okay.
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So it's been
But isn't Immortals like a team that's well known or something? Like,
They're
why is there
another
nostalgia
EU
behind
team.
it?
Immortals was
wait.
most of what you know as Liquid now. Well, not Liquid previously. Xmithy, Pobelter, and Ole were on Immortals and were the #1 team at Worlds from NA. Like, they went as the #1 seed 2 years ago.
Okay.
Immortals dominated the league for a season. They were really good.
So why wouldn't you?
They failed to
want
win
come
championships, but they're really good.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't, I mean, just the kind of the reasons I laid out. Like, it has to do with, are they solvent? And the reason they didn't get a spot to begin with is because they actually had just part of the reason. They didn't have a giant amount of cash behind them. It's like one younger venture capitalist guy.
Yeah.
And he had done this team. And he cares a lot about the league. I like him as an owner. Absolutely like him as an owner. But they didn't have a lot of money behind them, and they had just purchased a spot in the Overwatch League, so they even had less solvency than they previously did.
But it would be
I
a
thought
better
they were an
decision
EU
for Riot,
team.
right?
No.
Like, this is before I was playing, so like I had no idea who Immortals
Their
was.
World's the first one you watched. They were the #1 seed coming from NA, that Worlds,
Oh.
when we started Loggers.
Then I must have thought they were an EU team at the time for whatever reason.
They ended up in a tiebreaker as well, and was famous for Cody's son flashing into his death by accident.
Oh, poor Kurtis.
Yeah,
He
so
was on Kog'Maw, I believe.
looking at their
Is that what the
their
name
final
is?
roster was Ole,
Cody's son.
Cody's son, Pobelter, Dardoch, and Flame.
Double F holding flash is the meme.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What?
Well, I said like their Indian roster, like back in 2016, was Ole, Cody's son, Pobelter, Dardoch, and Flame. Like, that's not a terrible roster.
Yeah, and actually, it says Dardoch?
It says Dardoch.
They had Xmithy. I'm almost certain they had Xmithy. I want to say the jungle mid support was the trio that continued on. TL picked them up when they came in.
Their 2016 season would have been Huni, Rainover, Pobelter, Wild Turtle, and Adrian.
Yeah, no, I don't care about 2016. I care about their 2017 Worlds roster.
Oh, okay. Well, let me figure out
But
how
yeah,
this site
I mean,
works.
like, they're a good
Oh, they do
brand
have
for
Xmithy,
League,
you're
I
right,
think,
you're
all
right.
that
Okay,
stuff.
yeah.
Who's their top?
Flame?
Flame. Okay, it was Flame. I didn't remember that one for
Onda.
sure.
Well, they had Onda.
Yeah, he's bench. He never played.
Oh.
Like, maybe a game. Yeah, if you're behind the Xmithy, you wouldn't play a game either. Right? But yeah, no, I think if we got Immortals back in, I'd be fine. My one problem, if we have both Immortals and Dignitas return, is that 2 years ago we entered franchising, so we wouldn't have this kind of turnover. And if we had 2 teams switch after 2 years, that's kind of annoying. Like that,
Yeah, but
not just annoying, but it's not good for the league.
I don't know about that.
From a franchising standpoint, that is not good because it doesn't breed stability. It makes sponsors worried.
I'm thinking about it from a different angle.
Right. Well, but like the reason you do franchising is so sponsors go, it's these teams every year. People are going to become attached to them. They're going to become attached to the league. They're not just going to follow Double Lift to whatever team he moves to next, etc. And if you see 2 teams move,
Yeah.
That is not, it's not good from a sponsorship standpoint for the league, and that's where all the money comes from.
I don't think
Yeah, but I think the sponsorship for league comes more internationally than NA.
No, I'm talking about LCS, that league, not League of Legends as a game.
Okay.
LCS.
But you're a fan, right? And you're excited to see Dignitas come back. And you want to see Immortals come back, right?
I'm excited to see Dignitas because Clutch is balls.
Yeah, okay. Whatever the
Optics
fucking reason
kind of
is, it doesn't
balls,
matter.
too.
But Immortals too, you just said you like the owner, but all right.
But I
it.
also, as a fan, don't like seeing two teams switch out again.
That's your pro-con list, right? You were saying you want to see Dignitas come back, Clutch sucks, whatever, fuck off.
I really don't have any strong feelings or against, like...
Yeah, he doesn't know any of these teams.
Okay, well... I'm definitely
like
happy
Dignitas and Immortals are
out,
pretty me,
so
like playing League.
Whatever my reason is, it's just the Texas logo is out.
It's awful, yeah.
Gone.
And I'm cool with that being gone.
So, yay. And then I think
Texas.
the Immortals thing, like fans
Yeah.
would really like that. And if the fans are going to support that, that's where the money comes from, is the fans.
But let's remember,
Yeah.
people making the money decisions at sponsors don't know shit half the time.
Oh, I mean,
especially when it
is
comes to something
true.
like esports.
Yeah.
If you're talking the NFL, they're probably pretty knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're saying, oh yeah, League of Legends, they don't know dick.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me the guys who sponsor, who make the decision that State Farm sponsors the analyst desk know fucking shit about League of Legends.
I'll concede that, because that's true. But from a fan standpoint, I think we're all happy on the Dignitas train.
Yeah.
And then the Immortals thing would be like, all right, that's cool. And we understand that, like, if you really get into it, this franchising thing that you're saying, like, they brought it into effect 2 years ago, and now 2 years, 2 teams, it's annoying. But at the same time, like, if Immortals went to Worlds and we got Immortal skins, we're happy.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's not a good look for the league that, we're franchised, and then 2 years later we swap out.
I mean, the other leagues, is it the same thing?
NA was the first one to franchise. LEC just did this year.
Okay, so we don't have another year on that.
So yeah, after 2020, if they're swapping two teams, then you're like, what the fuck? Now, the one thing I would say that does play more into it is that Dig and Immortals, especially Immortals, are teams that existed previously in League, and they're coming back, and I think they're better brands for that reason. If these were 2 completely new brands coming in, that's a massive issue.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that could end up being better, and it's impossible, would be, like, if you replaced 100 Thieves with, like, Curse. But Curse is TL, so it's the same thing.
It is TL?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Curse being a company, at some point you can no longer have a company, like, be a company entity and also be a team. Like, you could sponsor a team but not be the team name. And so the team became TL, and Curse as a company, like, sponsored it. Like, that was one of the badges on their
Curse
shit.
is the voice program, right?
No, that's Discord.
Now, yeah.
Discord?
Discord bought Curse. Or no, Twitch bought Curse. But yes, Curse was a voice program. You're not incorrect. It was a website with a whole bunch of shit.
Fucking program.
Yeah. So, there's lots of shit that happened. I can't wait for Elite Smash 10 this weekend.
I don't know if that's a problem, but it could be, because I know that if it actually does fill up, it's going to lock up your computer and kill everything.
Yeah, that's okay. Anyway, I mean, we're about to wind down here anyway.
I'd like to see it happen.
Yeah, no,
you're right.
I mean,
the big wigs are fucking.
I think Dignitas will be coming back as a brand for sure because they're not actually buying the space. They've just bought majority stake in the team from Clutch. So I think we'll see that happen. Whereas it sounds like the Optic Talk is actually buying that spot, period, which is a bigger issue.
But are we going to get, instead of it being called Clutch Gaming, is it going to be called Dignitas?
That is the rumor.
Until next year.
Yeah.
At the very
But it will change.
That is the rumor. It's not guaranteed.
Damn it. Okay.
It is not, because that has to go through approvals still. But I think that one's pretty darn likely. But yeah, if we saw Immortals and Dig come in, like, as a old school fan, I'm happy about that. Let's just swap out 100 Thieves with, like, Good Gaming University, GGU. I'm gonna just name teams you've never heard of. Let's go Gravity. Evil Geniuses.
I'm aware.
No,
of
these
Evil
are all
Geniuses.
teams.
I've heard of
I'm
that.
aware of Evil Geniuses because they have a
Coast, Team Coast.
No.
I don't know that.
Team 8.
No.
Is Team Coast Wizards of the Coast their team?
No.
I'm just wondering.
No.
Can we get Unicorns of Love to come back and be NA?
Doug just said.
Hot damn, that's funny.
No, honestly, and that would be. So, like, the team everybody was disappointed in NA when they did franchising that didn't stay was Immortals. Everybody's like, why the fuck don't we have Immortals? And in EU, the one was Unicorns of Love. Like, if we could have Unicorns of Love instead of Renegade, everybody would be so fucking happy. And it's the same here. If we could have
Xerxes.
Yeah. Or Excel, you mean? Or, poor Xerxes.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, like, if we could have that, dude, if we could get UOL here, fuck yeah, I'd be all over that. Like, that'd be a stacked fucking
I've only
league.
heard of them, so.
Unicorns of Love, fucking Dignitas, Immortals come back, and we get rid of the 3 brands nobody gives a dick about.
Yep.
Although people like 100 Thieves. Alright,
Not
no,
me.
Vulcan.
Not
Vulcan.
me.
I was okay
I'm
with Vulcan until they rebranded as XDG, and then they were dead to me forever.
Alan, you're dead to me. Nate Shot and 100 Thieves, they're fucking Garbo.
So he's that guy. But, alright, so we have anything else, though? MSI?
I'm excited.
I'm just excited for the groups.
Yes, I am too. Excited to watch.
I'm not excited. It's fucking a lot of matches.
It is.
I'm excited to see good games.
1.5
Yeah.
speed.
I'm at 1.75 speed.
Oh man, I cannot.
I watch games and listen.
I go through the first part, like the picking band at 1.5, and then I do 1.25.
He doesn't even watch that shit. He goes straight to match.
I click to at the start of the fountain. Yeah.
I'm surprised he doesn't click to a minute and a half and see if there's a kill, and if not,
I
he
do
just
that
keeps going.
sometimes. I'll
No,
go
I
to
don't
like
do
3
that. I
and I'm
literally
like,
click to
okay,
the-
3's
3
good.
minutes.
I click to the fountain, and then sometimes it like brings me 10 seconds back. I'm like, I don't care about picks and bans, bitches. Give me the match.
All right. Well, that's going to do it, though, for this
Oh,
episode
take
of League of
care.
Loggers, guys. Everybody enjoy the group matches. We will be back sometime between Tuesday and Thursday next week. We'll put it up in chats, but we've got to figure that out just because schedules are pretty amorphous when we're not doing our
matches
usual
go until
Monday.
Tuesday, so
Right,
it'll
exactly.
probably be at minimum.
It'll probably be
Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday again.
Yeah.
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 But we'll
Bank
let
on
you guys
Thursday.
know. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll see you
Bye.
again next week. Cheers.
Go watch.